Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, regular Srimad Bhagavatam class. So, I'm Advaita Pran from ISKCON from Kolkata. We are continuously reading Srimad Bhagavatam, fourth, fourth canto, ninth chapter, 44 number slope. Dhruva Maharaj returns home. So, before reading, we will recite Srimad Bhagavatam Mangalacharan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudivaya Nashtaprayeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nestiki Mukam Karti Vachalam Pongam Lambhayate Gurum Yatkripatamahan Vande Sri Gurum Gunatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sichaitanya Isharam Namayo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swami Niti Namini Snigdha Cheta Supranita Bhagvinam Tarasapakam Prabhupada Gata Prano Nami Bhakti Charu Padam Namayo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 9th chapter, look 44. You can see the screens here. Maharaj returns from 44, 4.9.44. Athaji gran muhur murdni sutarnayana varivi snapayam asatanya tanayam yato dabima manoratha. Translation. Reunion with Dhruva Maharaj fulfilled King Tanpa's long cherished desire, and for this reason he smelled Dhruva's head again and again, and bathed him with torrents of very cold tears. But by nature's way, when a man cries, there may be two causes. When one cries with great happiness upon the fulfillment of some desire, the tears forth from the eyes are very cold and pleasing, whereas tears in times of distress are very hot. Text 45. Abhivandyapitu padab asiribhis chabi mantrita nanama matarau sirsna satkrita sat janagrani. Translation. Then Dhruva Maharaj, the foremost of all nobles, first of all offered his obeisances at the feet of his father and was honored by his father with various questions. He then bowed his head at the feet of his two mothers. Purport. It may be questioned why Dhruva Maharaj offered his respect not only to his mother but also to his stepmother, due to whose insults he had to leave home. The answer is that after achieving perfection, self-realization, and seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, Dhruva Maharaj was completely freed from all contamination of material desire. Feelings of insult or honor in this material world are never perceived by a devotee. Lord Chaitanya therefore says that one has to be humbler than the grass, and he recommends more tolerant than the tree to execute devotional service. Dhruva Maharaj therefore has in this verse been described as towards anyone Duality due to animosity is the creation of this material world. There is no such thing in this spiritual world, which is the absolute reality. Suruchistam samuthapya padavanatam arvakam parishwajaya jivati bashpa gadaya gira. Translation: Suruchi, the younger mother of Dhruva Maharaj, seeing that the innocent boy had fallen at her feet, immediately picked him up, embracing him with her hands, and with tears of feeling she blessed him with the words, "My dear boy, long may you live." Text 47. Yasha prasanno bhagavan gunairimatre adivir hari tasmai namanti bhutani nimnan apa ivasvayam. Translation: Unto one who has transcendental qualities due to friendly behavior with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all living entities offer honor, just as water automatically flows down by nature. But the question may be raised in this connection: why Suruchi, who was not at all favorably disposed towards Dhruva, blessed him, "Long may you live," which means that she also desired good fortune for him. The answer is given in this verse: since Dhruva Maharaj was blessed by the Lord due to his transcendental qualities, everyone was bound to offer him all respects and benediction, just as water by its nature flows downward. A devotee of the Lord does not demand respect from anyone, but wherever he goes, he is honored by everyone throughout the whole world with all respect. Srinivasa Acharya said that the six Goswamis of Vrindavan are respected throughout the entire universe because a devotee, having pleased the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the source of all emanations, automatically pleases everyone, and thus everyone offers him respect. Text 48. Uttamascha dhruvasvobhav अन्योन्यम प्रेम ही भलो अंगसंगत उत्पुलाकव अश्रौघम मुहुर ohatu. Translation: The two brothers Uttama and Dhruva Maharaj also exchanged their tears. They were overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love and affection, and when they embraced one another, the hair on their bodies stood up. सुनीतिर्अस्य सुनीतिर्अस्य ज्ञानानि प्रणेभ्यो अपि प्रियं सुतम् उपगुज्झा जहव अधिं तद अंग स्पर्श निभृता. Translation: Suniti, the real mother of Dhruva Maharaj, embraced the tender body of her son, who was dearer to her than her own life, and thus forgot all material grief, for she was very pleased. Text 50. Payasthana vayam susrva netrajay salilai sivai tadavi secha mana vayam vira vira shubho muhu. Translation: My dear Vidura, Suniti was the mother of a great hero. Her tears, together with the milk flowing from her breasts, wet the whole body of Dhruva Maharaj. This was a great auspicious sign. Purport: The deities are installed. They are washed with milk, yogurt, and water. At this ceremony is called Avisheka. In this verse, it has been especially mentioned that the tears which flowed down from the eyes of Suniti were all auspicious. This auspiciousness of the Abhishek ceremony performed by his beloved mother was an indication that in the very near future, Dhruva Maharaj would be installed on the throne of his father. The history of Dhruva Maharaj's living home was that his father refused to give him a place on his lap. And Dhruva Maharaj determined that unless he got the throne of his father, he would not come back. Now, this Abhishek ceremony performed by his beloved mother was an indication that he would occupy the throne of Maharaj Uttanpad. It is also significant in this verse that Suniti mother of Dhruva Maharaj, is described as Veerasu, a mother who produced a great hero. There are many heroes in the material world, but there is no comparison to Dhruva Maharaj, who was not only a heroic emperor of this world, but also a great devotee. A devotee is also a great hero because he conquers the influence of Maya. When Lord Chaitanya inquired from Ramananda Rai about the most famous man in this world, the latter replied that anyone who is known as a great devotee of the Lord is to be accepted as the most famous. So 4.9.51. Tam sasasmus tam tam sasamsur jana rajni Vistyate putra artiha pratilabdhaschiram nashto rakshita mandalam bhuva. Translation: the residents of the palace praised the queen. Your queen, your beloved son was lost a long time ago, and it is your great fortune that he now has come back. It appears, therefore, that your son will be able to protect you for a very long time and will put an end to all your material pains. Slok 52. अव्यर्चितस्त्वया नूनं भगवान् प्रणतर्तिः तर्तिहा यद् अनुध्वनि न धीरा मृत्युं जिघ्रे सुदुर्जयम्. Translation: dear queen, you must have worshipped the supreme personality of Godhead who delivers his devotees from the greatest danger. Persons who constantly meditate upon him surpass the course of birth and death. His perfection is very difficult to achieve. But Dhruva Maharaj was the lost child of Queen Suniti, but during his absence, she always meditated upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is able to rescue his devotee from all danger. While Dhruva Maharaj was absent from his home, not only did he undergo severe austerities in the forest of Madhuvana, but at the home also his mother prayed to the Supreme Lord for his safety and good fortune. In other words, the Lord was worshipped by both the mother and the son, and both were able to achieve the supreme benediction from the Supreme Lord. The word Sudur Jayam, an adjective which indicates that no one can conquer death, is very significant. When Dhruva Maharaj was away from his home, his father thought that he was dead. Ordinarily, a king's son only 5 years old and away from home in the forest would certainly be supposed death, dead. But by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not only was he saved, but he was blessed with the highest perfection. Lalyamanam janet evam ध्रुवं ध्रुवं सभ्रतरं नृप आरोप्य कारिणीं वृषपृष्ठा स्तूयमानो विशत्पुरम्. Translation: The sage Maitreya continued, "My dear Vidura, when everyone was thus praising Dhruva Maharaj, the king was very happy, and he had Dhruva and his brother seated on the back of a sea elephant. Thus he returned to his capital, where he was praised by all classes of men." Text 54. तत्र तत्र पसङ्कल्पतैर्लासान्मकारात् तोरणैः सवृन्दै कदलीस्तम्भैः उगापोतैश्च तद्विजयैः. Translation: The whole city was decorated with columns of banana trees containing bunches of fruits and flowers, and betel nut trees with leaves and branches were seen here and there. There were also many gates set up which were structured to keep the appearance of scarps. But auspicious ceremonies with decorations of the green leaves of palms, coconut trees, betel nut trees, and banana trees, and fruits, flowers, and leaves are an age-old custom in India. To receive his great son Dhruva Maharaj, King Uttanpad arranged a good reception, and all the citizens very enthusiastically took part with great jubilation. Text 55. Utapallavavasasran muktadama vilambivi upaskritam pratidvaram apam kumbhai sadipakai. Translation: At each and every gate there were burning lamps and big water pots decorated with differently colored cloth, strings of pearls, flower garlands, and hanging mango leaves. प्रकरै गोपुरागरै शतकुम्भ परिच्छदै सर्वदो लङ्कृतं श्रीमद् भीमना शिखर धुवि. Translation: In the capital city, there were many palaces, city gates, and surrounding walls, which were already very, very beautiful. And on this occasion, all of them were decorated with golden ornaments. The domes of the city palaces glittered as did the domes of the beautiful airplanes which hovered over the city. But regarding the mention of airplanes here, it is suggested by Srimad Vijayadhwaja Tirtha that on this occasion the demigods from higher planetary systems also came in their airplanes to bestow their blessings on Dhruva Maharaj on his arrival at the capital of his father. It also appears that all the domes of the city palaces as well as the pinnacles of the airplanes were decorated with ornamental work in gold and being reflected by the sunshine. They were all glittering. We can observe a specific distinction between Dhruva Maharaj's time and modern days. For the airplanes in those days were made of gold, whereas at the present moment, airplanes are made of base aluminum. This just gives a hint of the opulence of Dhruva Maharaj days and the poverty of modern times. Slok 57. Mrishtachatvara rathatha margam chandana charchitam lajaksatai pushpafalas kandulai balifir yutam. Translation: All the quadrangles lanes and streets in the city, and raised sitting places at the crossings, thoroughly cleansed and sprinkled with sandalwood water and auspicious grains such as rice and barley, and flowers, fruits, and many other auspicious presentations were scattered all over the city. Slok 58 to 59. ध्रुवया पति दृष्टया तत्र तत्र पुरा स्त्रिया सिद्धर्थ साता दधि अम्भु अम्बुधुर्व पुष्प फलानि च उपजर्हु प्रयुञ्जना वत्सल्यद आशिषा सती सिंहंस्तद् वल्गुगीतानि प्राविशद भवनं पितो. Translation: thus, as Dhruva Maharaj passed on the road from every place in the neighborhood, all the gentle household ladies assembled to see him, and out of material affection, they offered their blessings, showering him with white mustard seed, barley, curd, water, newly grown grass, fruits, and flowers. In this way, Dhruva Maharaj, while hearing the pleasing songs sung by the ladies, entered the palace of his father. 660. Mahamani vratamai satasmin bhavanottame lalito nitaram pitra nyavasad devabhat. Translation: Dhruva Maharaj thereafter lived in this father's place, which had walls bedecked with highly valuable jewels. His affectionate father took particular care of him, and he dwelled in that house just as the demigods live in their palaces in the higher planetary systems. 61. Payasena nivasaya dantarukma parichada asanani maharhani yaktarokma upasakra. Translation: the bedding in the palace was as white as the foam of milk and was very soft. The bedsteads were made of ivory with embellishments of gold, and the chairs, benches, and other sitting places and furniture were made of gold. Text 62. Yatra spatika kuddeshu mahamara pateshu cha ani pradeepa avanti lalanaratna samyuta. Translation: the palace of the king was surrounded by walls made of marble with many engravings made of valuable jewels like sapphires, which depicted beautiful women with shining jewel lamps in their hands. Purport: the description of King Uttanapal's palace depicts the state of affairs many hundreds and thousands of years ago, long before Srimad Bhagavatam was compiled, since it is described that Maharaj Dhruva ruled for 36,000 years. It must have lived the Satya Yuga, when people lived for 100,000 years. The life durations in the 4 yugas are also mentioned in the Vedic literature. In the Satya Yuga, people used to live for 100,000 years. In the Treta Yuga, people lived for 10,000 years. In Dwapar Yuga, they lived for 1,000 years. And in this age, Kali Yuga, people may live up to 100 years. With the progressive advance of each new yuga, the duration of human life is reduced by 90%, from 100,000 to 10,000, from 10,000 to 1,000, and from 1,000 to 100. It is said that Dhruva Maharaj was the great grandson of Lord Brahma, which indicates that Dhruva Maharaj's time was in the Satya Yuga in the beginning of creation. During one day of Lord Brahma stated in the Bhagavad Gita, there are many Sakti Yugas. According to the Vedic calculation, at the present moment, the 28th millennium is current. It can be calculated that Dhruva Maharaj lived many millions of years ago, but the description of the palace of Dhruva's father is so glorious that we cannot accept that advanced even civilization did not exist even 40 or 50,000 years ago. There were walls like those in the palace of Maharaj Uttanpad even very recently during the Mughal period. Anyone who has seen the Red Fort in Delhi must have marked that the walls are made of marble and were once decorated with jewels. During the British period, all these jewels were taken away and dispatched to the British Museum. Conception worldly opulence was formerly based mainly on natural resources such as jewels, marble, silk, ivory, gold, and silver. The advancement of economic development was not based on big motor cars. Advancement of human civilization depends not on industrial enterprises, but on possession of natural wealth and natural food, which is all supplied by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that we may save time for self-realization and success in the human form of body. Another aspect of this verse is that Dhruva Maharaj's father, Uttanpad, would very soon give up attachment for his palaces and would go to the forest for self-realization. And from the description of Srimad Bhagavatam, therefore, we can make a very thorough comparative study of modern civilization and the civilization of mankind in the other millenniums, Yuga, Treta and Proper Yuga. So today we will start here. From tomorrow we will continuously reading from 63 slok. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। पावन सुगम अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्तों की जयंताय गोस्वामी प्रेमानंद।